box. Round 5 about to get underway. Lights out and we're racing here in Le Mans. It's a great start from pole position by Pecco Bagnaia as he goes through the gearbox. The front wheel comes down, the smoke though from Bagnaia. Great start by Marco Bezzecchi. Jorge Martin's coming through. He goes in between the Gianantonio and Bagnaia. Drops back though now, does he, behind Fabio Quartararo. Bezzecchi it is that leads. Acosta's up in the second place and Quartararo third.
Got boxed in that time, did Jorge Martin. Tried to pull the same trick, but the door slam shut in his face. Acosta straight up the inside of Quartararo. Then it's Di Gianantonio and the pole sit to Bagnaia back to 5th.
Oh, look at this, through into second place. Goes into La Chapelle, goes Quartararo on Acosta into turn 6. The French fans are on their feet. They are already going wild as Quartararo's made the perfect start here. Having a P2.
This is the perfect situation too for the World Championship leader Marco Bezzecchi. Acosta attacking again. Is he up the inside of Quartararo? But he was so good on the brakes. Just ask Joan Mir from yesterday. Quartararo is not easy to pass.
Yeah, there's Martin trying to tough it out through garage there with Alex Marquez. It has not been. He got the initial jump off the line, did Martin, but as Lewis said, he got a bit boxed in that first chicane. He's back through on Alex. Here comes Joan Mir from a long way back into the Shimano Burf S's as well. He's not able to find a way through, but as it stands, Martin down in 7th.
Exactly where he started in the sprint. Here comes Iagura attacking on the inside of Johan Zarco, which won't earn him any friends here with the French fans, but Zarco fighting straight back again.
Yeah, and Luca Marini comes out the worst of that because a little bit like the Bagnaia Vinales incident a couple of years ago. Agura and Marini fighting for the same piece of tarmac. Oh, Zarco's been done dirty there. Big style, hasn't he, by Ralph Fernandez. He got picked up by Fernandez. A couple of corners after he got lifted by Iagura. This time around it's Ralph Fernandez, and Zarco's been dumped down to 15th.
And Bagnaia now attacking Fabio Di Gianantonio, trying to make up from another poor start. Not as poor a start for Didier this time around. He's running 5th again as Bagnaia takes in. It is Agura, the leading tracker space. I think it was twice with Ralph Fernandez that we had problems there for Johan Zarco. Someone's down at the first chicane. I think it's Alex Marquez who's tumbling down our order. Alex Marquez crashed twice here in the Grand Prix last year, and he looks like he's in a bit of pain down at Dunlop.
Oh, it's turning into a wretched weekend for the Marquez siblings, isn't it? Nightmare for both Mark and Alex. Alex then looks like he might have just been a little pinned underneath that Ducati GP26.
He's under the right-hand side of the bike, and he was through a left-hander, so clearly a little bit of a strange crash there for Alex Marquez. Back with the leading group, and Quartararo, to his immense credit, is keeping Marco Bezzecchi in range. Our experience so far from the last 6 months or so is when Marco Bezzecchi leads the first lap, he leads them all.
It is over a year now, pretty much bang on 12 months, 365 days since Fabio Quartararo was last on a Sunday podium. He would love nothing more than to get it done here in front of his home crowd, but Pedro Acosta goes on the inside of the Frenchman into the Blue S's. Lovely move that by Pedro Acosta. He can't afford to let Bezzecchi get away here, can he? Bagnaia still there in 4th place. Didier is 5th. You've got to go all the way back to the Malaysian Grand Prix in Sepang, the last time Marco Bezzecchi did not finish in the top 2 in a main Grand Prix. This is where he's so good, and he's getting on with business here. Marco Bezzecchi, he's just at the fastest lap of this race. Bagnaia on the inside of Quartararo on that long run through the first corner. Quartararo trying to fire back immediately. Bagnaia goes really defensive there, didn't he, on the brakes into turn 3. But Bezzecchi getting on with it, a 1:31.380 from the Italian. Fastest lap so far. He's leading now over half a second clear of Acosta. After being sent to Paris at recorded one very early on, Johan Zarco got himself up from 15th to 13th, but he's been kind of stuck there, really. Stuck behind the factory Honda of Luca Marini. Fermin Aldeguer in 11th as Bagnaia closes right up on the rear tyre of Acosta here. Surely Bagnaia is going to be lining up the drive here. Is he going to maybe attack going into recorded one? He certainly looks like he might be close enough. Will he dart to the inside line here on Acosta? We know how good Acosta is at defending. We know how late Acosta is on the brakes. But now Bagnaia, he's going to be real close now to pick up some serious slipstream on the Ducati. They go through the gearbox up to about 310 kilometres an hour through this scary first corner. Now through turn 2 we go, and here comes Pecco on the inside, surely of Acosta, into turn 3. That is lovely. That was set up on, 3 or 4 corners before that move was made. He's a little bit wide though on the exit of 4. Acosta trying to strike straight back.
Yeah, he had to make that move because Bezzecchi started to stretch clear at the front of the race. 8/10 his advantage at the start of the lap. While that was happening, Di Gianantonio took Quartararo into Dunlop 2, so he's now up into 4th place. Quartararo's now got Jorge Martin up behind him. He's now got Jorge Martin up the inside of him. More places lost for Quartararo, back to 6th.
Oh, Didier's Ducati was twitchy. It was nervous there as he grabbed the handle of brake going into turn 7. Yeah, Quartararo Quartararo's tactic here was quite clear, wasn't it? Stick in the soft front, soft rear, let's just go gung-ho, all guns blazing at the start of this Grand Prix and hang in there for as long as we can. But the slide has started for Quartararo. He is now back in 6th place. Now Agura is really starting to hunt down Fabio Quartararo. Quartararo 6. That might be P7 very, very quickly. In fact, it is right now. Quartararo gets lifted by Agura, who goes in a little bit hot. And now Agura has lost places to Quartararo and to Joan Mir.
Yeah, I think he'd have been better off keeping an eye on what was going on up ahead of him, because most people have been passing Quartararo into the Dunlop chicane. Agura wasn't prepared to wait for that, and we know how good he is through that first sector. So I think a little bit of impatience there from Agura. We've got Martin and Di Giannantonio getting stuck into each other now into the Dunlop chicane. Di Giannantonio not letting that one go easily.
Yeah, and the problem is they are letting the top 3 go while they have this particular little melee. Giannantonio's a little bit offline going through La Chapelle. He's going to cut to a late apex. On the inside he goes and says thank you very much back through a Martin. This particular battle, though, is playing in the hands of Bezzecchi, Bagnaia and Acosta. Now Martin sends it on the inside of Digia into turn 7.
Bagnaia is really closing in. He took 4/10 on the last lap out of Marco Bezzecchi, and he's dragging Pedro Acosta along with him. This top 3 starting to close up now.
Said on Friday, you could just see Bagnaia, his body language on the bike, the way he was throwing and wrestling and muscling the Ducati GP26 around this Le Mans circuit. It just looked like vintage old Pecco Bagnaia. We've said so often, haven't we, over the last 18 months? Well, is this the weekend where Bagnaia is back? Maybe it's a little bit too early to make that call. We'll move it further into the season, but this, without any question, has been Bagnaia's best Grand Prix so far in 2026. Marco Bezzecchi, of course, your race leader, the first rider to start a new season in MotoGP with 4 podiums in a row since Marc Marquez did it back in 2016. Yellow flags are out in Sector 2. Oh, and it's Diogo Moreira, unfortunately. Well, having taken his first sprint finish, 4 points finish yesterday, Diogo Moreira just worked his way up into the point-scoring places in this French Grand Prix, but he's out on the LCR Honda. As it stands right now, Lucio Cecchinello, Johan Zarco, LCR Honda and 100,000 French fans need the heavens to open here if there's going to be a repeat of Zarco's success 1 year ago, because at the moment Zarco's still stuck down in 13th place, around 6.5 seconds he is back at Bezzecchi. Quartararo and Mir on that last lap was slightly quicker than Acosta in 3rd place, as Acosta then now crawling all over the rear tyre of Bagnaia. You can just see there, coming into the picture, is Jorge Martin. He has got some great speed, hasn't he, at the moment? Just got to sort out. Martin was so good, lethal, wasn't he, in Moto3, Moto2, and throughout his MotoGP career in time attack mode. So good at finding explosive speed over 1 lap. Once that comes on the factory Aprilia, once he's starting front rows, well, then you just know he's going to be a victory contender week after week after week. This is Bagnaia at the moment. He's got it all on here. I don't know about catching Bezzecchi. He might be struggling to do a hold off Acosta.
Martin's had half a second now to this pair on this lap. They're starting to drop away from Bezzecchi and they're reversing back towards the other factory Aprilia. Give this another 2 or 3 laps and we're going to have a 3-way battle for 2nd place, led by Bagnaia. Let's see what kind of lap times Martin's doing. The last 3 laps have all been 1:31.3s. It's a 31.2, a personal best for Martin. He was even half a second quicker than his teammate last time around.
Well, Acosta's known as the Shark, and the Jaws music right now is being fired up for the 37 because Jorge Martin is flying. Oh, Bagnaia has gone down. Pecco Bagnaia. Well, his Sunday disasters continue. What a weekend to forget it has been for the factory Ducati team. It's now going to be 10 successive Grand Prix that the factory Ducati team is going to be podiumless. This is all pressure. This is pressure trying to run the pace of Bezzecchi at the front. The pressure of trying to resist Pedro Acosta behind him. And it is yet another Sunday DNF for Pecco Bagnaia, his 3rd in the opening 5 Grand Prix to kick off 2026, of course. He ended last year with 5 successive DNFs. Bagnaia dumps it out of 2nd place. Martin on the podium.
So much to be positive about this weekend for Pecco Bagnaia. Pole position and another sprint silver, but once again, no Sunday points for the 2-time MotoGP World Champion, and that could be a key moment in this race for Jorge Martin too, because he's cruised right up onto the rear tyre now of Pedro Acosta, and he's now the only rider between him and his teammate Marco Bezzecchi, who leads the race. Can Jorge Martin still win this Grand Prix from here?
that Jorge Martin is the quickest rider around this Le Mans circuit. He might think that it's Acosta versus Bagnaia, but we know that Bagnaia has crashed out of contention. Well, this is a move that Jorge Martin will be making very, very quickly. We know how good the Aprilia is. Downforce through high-speed corners, which is what you need through turns 1 and 2 here in Le Mans. It's such an agile bike. The corner speed the Aprilia has. Is Martin going to be close enough to strike on Acosta into the first chicane? You bet he is. Seizes the inside line. Beautiful move that by Martin. He'll just drop across the nose now of Acosta, blocking the exit speed of Acosta, who just was about to chop the throttle there. Broke Acosta's momentum as well. Brilliant work that, tactically superb by Martin. He's second and the win looming.
Pedro Acosta was trying to go for the undercut to go back underneath Martin out of Dunlop, but Martin just parked his Aprilia on the apex, the second apex of Dunlop, and was able to fend that move off. So 1.6 seconds is the advantage that Marco Bezzecchi has over Jorge Martin. This looks set now to be the battle for victory in this French Grand Prix in the final 10 laps, and in the context of this season, the battle for the World Championship too.
Oh, raging. Absolutely raging is Bagnaia. He is suffering on Sundays without any question. Just look how quickly that front end tucked underneath him. There it starts to slide, and that one's not coming back. And there is more Sunday drama coming the way of Pecco Bagnaia. He came into this French Grand Prix sitting down in a lowly 9th in the championship, back-to-back DNS. There's been far too many of those, hasn't it, over recent weeks. He stomps up the stairs into the factory Ducati office. Agura has proven so often throughout 2026 on worn tyres, on worn Michelin rubber. He's one of the fastest riders in the world. And now Pedro Acosta's got some pain coming here in Le Mans because Agura picking up some slipstream behind him. There's nothing wrong with the top speed of the KTM or the Aprilia, but we know this is where Agura has been strong. How defensive will Acosta go? Can Acosta do anything? No, he can't. We're going to have an Aprilia 1, 2, 3 here in Le Mans.
And Agura, he's been waiting so long, hasn't he, for a MotoGP podium. Even if this is his second season, he's been knocking on the door on a few occasions. He's really about to walk through it. Look at the gap, though, top left of your screens. It's down to just 0.3 of a second now. It was a quarter of a second on the last lap from Martin that he took out of Bezzecchi, and the battle is firmly on now between the two factory Aprilias. This battle is for much more than bragging rights, much more than 25 points. This is potentially for World Championship supremacy in 2026.
Jorge Martin's last double win was right here in the French Grand Prix in 2024. Aprilia have only ever had 2 double wins. Aleix Espargaro in front of his home crowd at Catalunya 3 years ago. Maverick Vinales at Austin in 2024. That is where Jorge Martin could be heading right now as he starts powering on towards Marco Bezzecchi's rear tyre. Here comes Martin, not close enough to attack into recorded one. Surely, though, he's just going to try and pick up the drive, pick up a bit of clear air behind Marco Bezzecchi's RSGP. Now, can he get close enough to make a move into this first chicane? On board with Martin, 6th gear, just over 300 kilometres an hour. Great corner speed this time, Martin. He comes from a long, long way back, and Jorge Martin on the inside of Bezzecchi into turn 3. 3 laps to go, and it's at turn 3 that Martin makes his move. Bezzecchi, what have you got?
Surprised Bezzecchi didn't see that one coming. Came from quite a long way back, and he just hung Bezzecchi out to dry, really, on the outside of turn 3. So Bezzecchi had no opportunity to fight back into turn 4. Does he have anything by way of a counter-attack here? It looks already as if the answer might be no, because look at already Martin as he tries to squeeze the power out of Museum Corner turn 7. He's already stretching out an advantage. It's already a third of a second.
Unreal. Unreal. What a weekend this has been so far for Jorge Martin. Well, I did say he would come and make a case 2 or 3 laps ago for Agura to maybe stick his nose in this victory battle. Well, I think we can. Pedro Acosta, well, he's dropped right out of contention. He actually might lose 4th place to Fabio Di Giannantonio, the rate he's going. Quartararo is still in 6th place. Bastianini is 7th. Back at the front, though, and Bezzecchi has got nothing. Marco Bezzecchi has got nothing to counter this onslaught from Jorge Martin, and it has been an onslaught.
Yeah, he came, remember, from over 2.5 seconds back earlier on in the race. He was 7th, wasn't he, for so much of the early stages. He stayed patient. He's made the moves when he could. They've all been very clean, and in the end, he's going to be rewarded if he can hold this for 2 more laps with an extraordinary Sunday victory. Of course, we've seen Jorge Martin win sprints, but he has yet to win a Sunday Grand Prix since winning the World Championship late in 2024.
Ayagura can get through on Bezzecchi, Jorge Martin will leave Le Mans leading the MotoGP World Championship.
Yeah, of course, led it for 24 hours when he won the sprint in Austin earlier in the season. Of course, Bezzecchi lost a second on that lap because of the move of Jorge Martin, which really hung him out to dry down at the Dunlop chicane. He started to stabilise that a bit on this current lap. It's around 0.7 of a second, which is what it started the lap as. There's nothing stable about Pedro Acosta's advantage at the moment in that 4th place. Gianantonio has got a lap and a half to try and snatch those 13 points away from the Spaniard.
It's quite amazing to think right now, if you believe the gossip columns of 2027, 2 of the 3 Aprilias that are at the front of this French Grand Prix will not be on Aprilias next season. Jorge Martin and Ayagura are strongly linked to hooking up together in the factory Yamaha squad next season. A couple of big shoes to fill there for Massimo Rivola and co. You can see the lead group then out of the final corner. Jorge Martin's about to start the last lap. He's on the last lap. And well, it was a sensational victory in yesterday's sprint. Well, this will match it. This might even top it, because Jorge Martin on course for his first Grand Prix victory since Indonesia in 2024. He leads the last lap nearly 0.8 of a second clear of Marco Bezzecchi.
And what will this do psychologically to Marco Bezzecchi to have led for 24 of the 27 laps in this French Grand Prix? As we said early on, generally, when Marco Bezzecchi leads the first lap, he's never caught again. Jorge Martin, from 2.5 seconds back in 7th place, has caught and beaten him today.
What must this feel like for Jorge Martin? It's the first time he's led a MotoGP race since Sepang in 2024. All of the heartache, all of the pain, all the suffering he went through last season, a nightmare start to his factory Aprilia career. But at the moment, he is living the dream, enjoying life. This is going to be so sweet. He's going to lead home a historic podium here. Aprilia's 1, 2 and 3 in this French Grand Prix. Marco Bezzecchi might be thankful this is only a 27-lap race anymore, and Ayagura might be snatching that 2nd place away from him.
Gianantonio looks like he's going to run out of time to pass Pedro Acosta. But what a feeling this must be. He's not won a Grand Prix since winning the World Championship. Jorge Martin, your time has come again.
It really has. He has been undoubtedly quite phenomenal in France here this weekend. After a brilliant sprint win from the 3rd row, Jorge Martin wins the French Grand Prix here in Le Mans for the 2nd time in 3 seasons. He completes a dream double. Winner of the sprint, winner of the Grand Prix, his first Grand Prix success since Mandalika in 2024. What a victory, what a statement for Aprilia, and what a day, what a weekend for the Nawali factory. Aprilia, for the first time in their history, have a 1, 2, 3. Aprilia lock at the podium.
A massive 25 points for Jorge Martin, starting from the 3rd row. Bezzecchi comes away with 20 points, and Ayagura, the first Japanese rider to reach a MotoGP podium since 2012. Gianantonio with an important 13 points, Acosta, Quartararo, Bastianini, and Fernandez rounding out the top 8.